So I now call the meeting to order. This is your city council meeting for today. I was going to say Wednesday, but it's Monday, December 22nd. And so I'm calling the meeting to order. Members of the public wishing to address the city council on items appearing on the agenda are advised to indicate their interest in doing so by submitting a speaker card to the city staff or proceeding to the podium one by one at a time. An item is considered. Members of the public wishing to address the city council on items not appearing on this agenda may do so during item 5. Each speaker will have the opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes, once per agenda item, unless otherwise allowed by the city council. To ensure each speaker is provided with uninterrupted opportunity to speak for the full time allotted, members of the city council and city staff are asked to reserve any responses they wish to make to public comments until after each speaker has completed their comments. Speakers are requested but not required to identify themselves both on a speaker card or in comments or testimony. Speakers are advised that their name and any information submitted on speaker cards or otherwise provided in writing to the city may be disclosed or become a matter of public record. No speaker shall expect any privacy of such information. May we have the roll call, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Connors. Councilmember Moore.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Lee.
Present.
And Mayor McCary.
Present. And now we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. If I'll ask Councilwoman Moore to lead us in the Pledge of
Thank
Allegiance.
you. Would you please stand if you're able and join all of us together as we salute our flag? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And also a welcome to our new mayor.
Thank you.
Starting a new session.
Thank you. Okay. So the next on the agenda is item 4, presentation of ceremonial matters, which we have none. Item 5, public comments on non-agenda items. This is a time and place for members of the public to address the city council on items not appearing on this agenda. As a reminder, each speaker will have the opportunity to speak once for up to 3 minutes unless otherwise allowed by the council. To ensure each speaker is provided with an uninterrupted opportunity to speak for the full time allotted, members of the city council and city staff are asked to reserve any responses they wish to make to public comments until after each speaker has completed their comments. Please note that pursuant to state law, the city council is unable to take action on items not appearing on this agenda, but may ask some clarifying questions of the speaker, engage in brief discussions, refer items to city staff, and or schedule items for consideration at future meetings. Do we have any? Seeing none. The next item is the city treasurer report. I believe we had that treasurer report, so that's not a report for today. There's consent calendar. There are no items on the consent calendar. Let's see, public hearings, we have none. And then item 9, city council business.
All right, thank you very much. We have only one item on today's agenda, and that's the potential lease of a portion of the real property commonly known as City Center Park, located at 24121 Moulton Parkway, Laguna Woods, California, 92637. We have had 2 recent prior meetings on this topic. At the November 19th City Council meeting, you received a more detailed report on the proposed ground lease agreement. And took a little bit of action at that point related to the California Surplus Land Act. At the December 17th meeting, we had this item on the agenda with the hopes that the City Council could consider voting on the matter. Because of a delay in receiving a letter from the State Department of Housing and Community Development, you weren't able to act on the matter, but there was an opportunity for public comments, none of which were received. Fast forward to today, we are pleased to share that last Friday, December 19th at exactly 5 p.m., on the day that
Pacific time?
the state's last opportunity to send the letter, we did receive the Surplus Land Act findings letter from the state. That letter agreed with the city that the property qualifies as exempt surplus land, which clears the way for the city council to consider approval of the proposed ground lease agreement at today's meeting. We posted the agenda packet the day prior on December 18th. On the 19th, we issued a supplemental agenda report with a copy of the letter from the state for everyone's reference. The agenda packet today includes the proposed ground lease agreement. No changes have been made to the ground lease agreement since it was originally presented to you on November 19th. And so at today's meeting, we're recommending that you receive public comments. After that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And then our recommendation is that you approve a ground lease agreement with the Orange County Fire Authority for the lease of a portion of the real property commonly known as City Center Park, located at 24121 Moulton Parkway, Laguna Woods, California, 92637. Orange County Assessor's Parcel Number 616-012-18. To the Orange County Fire Authority for the construction, operation, and maintenance of a new fire station and for public safety purposes, and authorize the city manager to execute the ground lease agreement, subject to approval as to form by the city attorney. Before turning it back to the mayor, I guess I will just add that we hope today will be a real milestone in this project. I've shared previously that the discussion and the need for this fire station predates both myself and your division chief. This is decades in the making, long overdue in my estimation. But the Orange County Fire Authority's Board of Directors has already approved the ground lease agreement. If City Council acts to approve it today, it will actually take effect tomorrow. Shortly thereafter, you will see a temporary construction fence go up around the property. That fence will be up until the station actually opens for business, which will be still some time off. The fire authority has a deadline roughly 2 years from now, and then another one 2 years from then related to planning and then the actual operation of the fire station. But we are looking at this as a really, really pivotal turning point in this project, actually conveying the property to the fire authority for their future purposes. So having said that, I will turn it back over to the mayor. I'd suggest taking public comments and then any council discussion or questions.
Public comments are now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to comment on this item? Hearing none, public comments are closed. Any council member comments?
I want to agree with Chris that this has been a long time coming. It's been under discussion since I've been on the council. And the particular negotiations to convert this parcel from parkland to fire station land have been going on for quite a few years, and Chris has made several trips. It required an act of the state legislature for this small parcel, and Chris made several trips to Sacramento to testify at committees and so forth. And he has shepherded it through, and now we finally have the lease signed, and so now we're just giving our support to the fire department as they finalize their plans and begin construction. But as Chris said, they've got some time to do that, so we won't see this station for a while. But every step forward is a good thing. So I'm very in support of this, and I move the approval of the lease.
I second.
I agree. So it seems like we had passed the milestone. So what is our next step?
Wait.
So,
After we pass.
sure. So the next steps are really on the fire authority's side. So, immediate kind of small potatoes next step is putting up the temporary construction fence. After that, the fire authority has a number of permits and approvals that they'll need to obtain from us and other agencies for the construction project. So I think near term, they're going to be working on bringing a design team on board. They have some architects they've been working with at a conceptual level for this. But my understanding is they're looking to pursue a design build type arrangement. And so they will be bringing on board their design team, starting the design process. The next kind of notable permitting or approval deadline is the end of December. So December 31st of 2026 is the deadline for the city to enter into an agreement with the El Toro Water District for the specific improvements to be made on the water district's property. That's that adjacent access road. And so between now and December, the fire authority really needs to focus on the civil and site design portions of their project, so that we can give the El Toro Water District some degree of specificity as to what's happening grading and construction-wise on their property. And then there's a deadline in 2027 for the fire authority to have obtained the site development permit from the city for the project. That will require that they be at or substantially complete with construction in order to get that permit, or I'm sorry, with design in order to be able to get that permit. So I would say that 2026 and 2027, I would expect will be primarily the fire authority working behind the scenes to put together the design documents for the project. And then after that, they would be looking to move to construction.
So from the city's point of view, we have done all the necessary.
Yeah, at this
Before
point, there's
this
nothing
point.
that they would be waiting on us for
I see.
until they get around to submitting for the different permits that they'll be requesting from the city.
Any other?
I did have a comment. Actually, this specific project may appear, I think it was on. This specific project took a while, but actually this goes back even further, because I do know at least 2010 and earlier, the issue has to do, we have a local fire station, but they're overworked. They have a lot of calls for our community, and the addition of another fire station not only addresses that and reduces some of the call on 22, which I've heard is changed already anyway, at gates 10 and 11, different station, but the access to a fire station closer for fire insurance, because that actually my personal fire insurance on my house, that was one of the things that they commented on, the proximity of the fire station. So that fire station is a critical part of this. I had a question though, having to do, so this goes back a long time, and finding a spot, by the way, there wasn't a location that GRF, who is the trustee for the property and the ownership of our community, that would not affect, in previous sites, they would interfere with either with residents, or there were reasons that GRF was not accepting at those sites. So when they came up with this location, this was quite a change. And to find this, for this specific spot, which isn't really huge, for it to work is really amazing that it works for them. And Chris is ushering this through. This is quite a big deal, really. I had a question having to do with the El Toro right-of-way. I would have thought that would have been, you're talking about the easement for where their pipes, their lines are in the road?
Yes.
Okay, we would approve easements, but I would thought once the property goes to them, how does that work? Could you explain that real quick?
Earlier this year, we obtained an easement from the El Toro Water District allowing the access road leading from Moulton Parkway up to their reservoirs to be used as part of the fire station project to provide joint access to the El Toro Water District's facilities and to the fire station itself, rather than taking up some additional space on the City Center Park property for driveways. The El Toro Water District's preference was to enter into that easement with the city as opposed to with the fire authority. And so the way that we've structured the lease agreement, the Orange County Fire Authority is responsible for complying with the terms and conditions of that easement, including whatever this subsequent agreement is between the city and the El Toro Water District. But the El Toro Water District will be dealing directly with the city on the matter. So we will still be in the thick of it, working on the easement portion, but we really can't do anything on that until the fire authority figures out their design, right? Until they get
okay.
further on it. But we are the agency that will actually have the legal agreement with the water district. The fire authority's only legal agreement is with the city. So we're kind of the middle person in
Okay.
this discussion.
Then I also had one last comment, and that had to do with, I believe, are you moving on to another position? Would you want to comment on that? Because he's been with us, and here's an opportunity to say goodbye to you.
So I'll be moving on to Assistant Chief of EMS and Training, effective this Friday.
Big promotion.
Big promotion. Had the honor to serve Laguna Woods, the city staff and council the last year and a half. It's been a pleasure of mine to work with your staff and the council, especially on this project for the permanent lease agreement for Fire Station 12. I was a longstanding member at Fire Station 22 as a fire captain and as a battalion chief, so I know that the need that the city has for Fire Station 12, and look forward to seeing that constructed in the near future and looking on good things for the city of Laguna Woods.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, right.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Wishing you well in your new assignment.
Thank you. I appreciate the support, and I'm looking forward to it as well.
Thank you. Did you have another comment?
I just wanted to make a point of clarification regarding the El Toro Water District driveway. What we have with the City Center Park property is a fairly narrow strip of property that will be mostly taken up by the fire station itself. And OCFA doesn't back their trucks into the stations, especially not on a street as busy as Moulton Parkway. So the use of the adjacent driveway allows the trucks to drive in on the Water District driveway and then make a right-hand U-turn into their building and end up with their nose pointing back out to the street. So they're ready for the next call. So that's what the easement over the Water District property is about.
Thank you. I just wanted to add my comments to this, and that is, in terms of the construction beginning, I think this is going to be a great opportunity for more community engagement. I know oftentimes I get a lot of questions about what's going on with the fire station, when is construction going to begin? So now having some visible signs of construction moving forward is an opportunity for the community to see a little bit of movement going, and hopefully over a period of time we can see the fruition of the project. So those are
And
my
I can add on to that, if the city council takes the recommended action today, we've had some discussions. The fire authority and the city will be issuing a joint press release probably after the first of the year to make sure that residents are aware of what will be coming on the property. So we'll try to push some information out that way as well.
Thank you. Any other comments? It's been moved in second.
It's been, yeah.
Moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So the resolution carries.
Thank you.
Unanimous. Next item on the agenda is City Council reports and comments. I believe the Coastal Greenbelt, Orange County Fire Authority, we did all of those reports last week, so there are no reports. The next item is,
Could I add one quick one?
yes, ma'am, please.
Sorry, thank you. We did cover all these. I don't know if we are supposed to, I thought we were supposed to report on something we had attended, and we did attend the League of Cities luncheon. Faye, I always want to call you Faye Pearl, because of a friend whose name is Faye Pearl. Pearl and I attended and heard Cotty Petrie-Norris and Laura Davies speak on what's going on with the legislature. And one key thing I thought was important, I'll let you go.
Troy, the
Pardon?
VP of SRP
Yes.
Utility Company, yeah, policymakers.
And
I don't
one last one too, the fact that they're looking at a regional electrical unit So that would make a big deal too. So there you go.
And I think
It was well attended.
perfect. And it was at Arctic, right?
Arctic.
Yes, it was very
In spite of the
beautiful.
echo.
Yeah. But hardly nobody's there other than us. The train station is
Yeah, it's
beautiful
empty.
and empty. But the panels of discussions were very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And all the participants had very interesting topics. And they were getting ready they're discussing about 2028 Olympics. Some exciting things coming up.
And then Mayor Pro Tem Lee, did you have a vector meeting to report on?
Yes, I did. It was a very brief vector meeting because it's the end of the year. What we had is, let me see, we recognized 2 Board of Trustees who had given 10 years of service, and they were leaving so we recognized and presented the recognition to those 2 trustees, and also they approved the district manager's revised compensation and contract extension, and there were some reports on the vector mosquito activity, because we're heading towards the winter. We're slowing down all these mosquito activities, and now it's time to, all the seasonal workers are done for the year, and they're going over some new plans for the coming year. And they have, let me see, and during the holidays, they're going to have a short business hours, and all the activities has kind of slowed down. And our next month meeting would be January 15th, 2026 at 3 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or reports from the council? None? Okay, the next item on the agenda is closed session. We don't have any items for closed session. So the next item on the agenda is adjournment. So this meeting is adjourned until the next meeting, which will be Wednesday, January 21, 2026 at 2 p.m. right here in City Hall. This meeting is adjourned.
Everyone.